Elections, Starmer, is he staying? Is he going? Protests in London, United Kingdom, reform, and Palestine. What is going on and where will this lead us to? Assalamu alaikum and welcome. This is the only way up. So it's been quite a interesting few weeks. A lot of discussion. The elections were seen as more of a statement of what people feel, where they want the country to go towards. We've seen a reform take a lot of council seats, but not many councils themselves. Labour are deciding what to do. Should we get rid of Starmer? Should we keep him? Should we go further left? Or should we go further right? And on top of that, we've got the independence movement. So how do we tie this all together?
Yes, welcome, Shani. Hope you're well. So, 2 years ago, the Labour Party stomped to victory with a landslide victory. Everybody was happy the Tories had finally been booted out of number 10. 14 years of austerity, you know, changes here. And just 2 years on, half of the term, the Labour Party has just got a battering in the local elections. I mean, if this was a national election, it'd be a humiliating defeat. So the question really is, in literally 2 years, the people of the country have come to the conclusion that nothing's changed. My economic situation is still as bad as it was under the Tories. And you've got to keep in mind, Labour has generally continued with most of the Tory policies. They promised taxes wouldn't go up, but then they put national insurance up. They promised they will renationalise the railways because they're in such a bad state. They've done a complete U-turn on that, and actually they've continued with most of the Tories' policy. So it's not surprising people have turned against the Labour Party. So that's two of your mainstream parties that have dominated the British political landscape. Probably one of the biggest things that came out of the local election is the rise of reform. They are saying what the people want to hear. They are tapping into every prejudice the people have, and really now they've got 2 years to show the masses that they can implement what they say, and actually they know what they're doing. And it's not been a good start. Already in the first week, at least 5 or 6 councillors of reform have been sacked, have been forced to resign because racist comments have come to light. So yeah, it's probably not a good start. But I think the election result is just very telling where the people are. Mainstream central parties just are not listening to the people, are not serving the people. So any party that comes along and actually says what the people are thinking, the masses will support them. And actually, the less political you are, the better. The more a politician you are, the more mainstream you are, the less people will support you. This is why a former reality TV star can become president in America. This is why an actor, a comedian who plays the role of a president in his drama becomes the president of Ukraine. Anyone who's unorthodox now, you're in because people have lost confidence in mainstream politicians. And if you look at reform, it's a very simple argument that the source of all our problems is immigration. We're going to be hard on immigration. We are going to come down on it. In fact, reform are talking about re-immigration, which is forcing people to leave the country and go abroad. So, that's their utopia. Immigration will end all. They've got 2 years to really show the masses that they can do it. I would just say, beyond the mainstream, the smaller parties historically have never been able to turn local election results or success at a certain time into national success. We saw it with the Respect Party. They achieved quite a lot at a local level, but were never able to turn it into national level success. And the reason for that is the way the system's set up. It's a first past the post system. You have 650 seats. Most of the parties, apart from the two main ones, don't have the finance, don't have the resources or the numbers to field candidates in 650 areas. And more importantly, out of these 650, over 50% of them never actually change the party affiliation. So what you find is every election, all the parties fight for the marginal seats. They fight for a few seats where change can actually happen. So we have to see if reform can do that. I think it's quite unlikely. But I think what reforms represents where the people are. What people want is change. What people want is the politicians to say and espouse what they believe, And the Labour Party has failed to do that in 2 years. And that's why Starmer has to go, because if Starmer doesn't go, you're going to get a thumping in 2 years' time. What this council result, local election result was, we are not happy. So he does really need to go. However, no party is one person, no nation is one person. And if you look at the prospective candidates for Labour, you got Andy Burnham and West Streeting. They're not really talking about changing the ship. They're not talking about changing the tires of the coach, giving it a repaint. What they're talking about is let's change the driver, but fundamentally it's going to be the same vehicle that's going to do the driving. So, what you might find is in the end, if they don't change things for people, people don't feel this change, then there's a very good possibility reform may end up in a coalition government. And it's interesting, there's a lot of talk of changing the political system, but we had a vote back in 2010, if I remember, for proportional representation, and people saw through the system. They saw that the Lib Dems, although they're in coalition government, it actually made no difference. So I think the results very telling of where the masses are. However, the political system just isn't serving the people. That is the fundamental problem. It's not serving the people, and that's why people have, in 2 years, voted out the two mainstream parties.
Yeah, I think the last statement that you just made, that the system is not serving the people. I think that is the crux and the bottom line of it all. Debt is through the roof, servicing debt is through the roof, taxes are just going to paying off the servicing. People are struggling, wages aren't going up. So it's not working. And this is a 100-year-old two-party system. So structurally, it seems as though Britain is working. And now they've gone towards uh, throwing it all in the bin and finding a new way forward. And with Trump doing what he's doing, and it seems as though Britain is domestically following Trump. It's a few years behind. Trump in America, they had the Trump versus Bernie. Trump came in 2016. Then they were sent him packing in 2020, but he's back. So I think in America it's settled. But in UK, it happened. They had the Corbyn situation. They got rid of him. And now it looks like they're bringing in UK's version of Trump, which is reform. Um, but ultimately, what does that mean? It means less political correctness. It means a lot more harshness towards some people or whoever that may be that they define is not are not going to make the cut no more. That they define that don't deserve a piece of the cake no more. And like you said, it seems as though it's going to be quote unquote illegal migrants. Then there'll probably be legal migrants. Then there'll probably be ILR, indefinite leave to remain. Then it may be recent citizens and etc. 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 So it's just showing um, that the system has finally gone bankrupt financially, and now it's bankrupting its own values. These values, were espoused across the world. Written into charters, into treaties, and now they're showing actually, do you know what? When it comes to it, we will very, very quickly throw them in the bin. So I think it is going to be a difficult time going ahead for everyone involved because the system has shown itself to be run out of money. But the elite won't let it change. All they're doing is deciding who's going to be sacrificed for everyone else. So if you got any views, thoughts, please let us know. Write a comment, send us a message. Jazakallah khair for listening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.